Hi, welcome. Pull up a comfy chair, grab a drink. Let's get talking. We're going to have a conversation today from my heart to yours with Angel Mom, Debbie Howland. Say hi, Debbie.
Hi, MaryBeth. How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, as an Angel Mom, that's how we know each other. And what I would like for you to do is share about your angel. Can you tell us her name, share a little bit about her, a memory, personality trait, something that brings you joy when you think about your daughter?
Sure. So my daughter, I'm wearing her, of course, but that's my daughter, Ava Michelle Howland. And she left this world at the age of 24. She was bright, beautiful, very smart baby. She just loved to rap music. She loved to cheerlead. She was a cheerleader for almost, well, a little over half of her life. She was a cheerleader for 13 years, and most of it comp squad cheerleading. So she was also artistic. So her artwork won an award in a book called Chunkin', which is still being sold on Amazon today, which is really cool. And she loved to do something that you like to do. One of the things that growing up is that she'd always say, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? What do you want for Mother's Day? And I would always reply with handmade cards. So that's one of her handmade cards for Mother's Day.
I love that.
So that was her Mother's Day card. So that was one of my favorite things to ask her for. I'd say, don't spend money. I want you to do it yourself, because she loved to draw and she loved to do artwork. So she was just free spirited. She always made people smile. She could never let somebody be sad. Just like all of our kids, just a great personality. Yeah.
Oh, such a treasure. And Ava is your only child.
She is. She's my only child. She's my only child in heaven now.
Your only child in heaven. But boy, I know she's not alone in heaven.
No, she's not. She's, she's like many of our children. Ava died of fentanyl toxicity. She had multi-drugs, but it was 4-ANPP, fentanyl toxicity is what took her life. And she died in a sober home in Florida. She was kind of caught in the Florida shuffle.
I'm so sorry. Sorry to hear that. And I know there was a lot about the shuffle that I didn't know about that you educated me on, because I had no clue. That whole I can't think of the word to describe it, but I had no body brokering. Yeah, I just had no clue. And I know there's many others that have no clue what that is.
There are, and there's many bad actors in the recovery world. So my battle was with that. And I have many moms on my page that lost their children as well in the same situation. So, we all found each other on Facebook and we all support each other.
Do you mind like briefly explaining what body brokering is?
So the Florida shuffle, which led to the California shuffle, basically people in very fresh or new in recovery were solicited to, say, go to AA and A meetings and pull people from those meetings and bring them to sober homes. The sober homes were then moving people to detox, getting paid. The detoxes were then releasing them back to the sober homes, and it was a vicious cycle. So the kids never really got offered treatment. They were just, in my own words, I felt like it's patient brokering is a nice word for human trafficking in and out of facilities is what they did. They conned many kids, they tell them, they give them money, or they make sure they had cigarettes or something at detox. It was just a real, it's actually against the law, patient brokering. They're not allowed to do that. So it's a federal law, eliminating kickbacks, and Recovery Act. So it is a federal law, and many of the bad actors that hurt my daughter have gone to prison. And I am still engulfed in that situation. One more impact statement in January. So, but I'm able to educate other families, and the work that I've done on behalf of my daughter so far, 3 cases, legal cases, and all 3 of those were positive outcomes. So that's many families who would send their kids to these places they thought were legitimate, or they were helping their children. They weren't. They were hurting them.
And that's what I was going to say, is that the families who think they're doing the right thing have no idea
None at all.
the details and the additional trauma that's impacted on their loved one.
They were thrown out. Ava was thrown out on the hurricane. They gave them 15 minutes to get out of the house, and the shelters, the hurricane, it was Thursday they got thrown out, and I think the hurricane was, I believe it was hitting Friday. The shelters weren't open till the Red Cross shelters weren't open till Friday. So yeah, so the kids lived, and the shame of it was your kids, would call home, and the substance abuse disorder can be a cunning, difficult disease to manipulate, between the lies and the truth. And, you try hard to stand by your child, and then you keep wondering what's wrong, why is this happening? And then you start getting the insurance bills, and you start to really flip out. So Ava had $1.5 million in claims in 18 months. And I believe she only went to the retreat for a couple days, which was supposed to be a 30-day stint. And then she went to another place at the time that was open in Lake Worth, and she did good there. But there were not a lot of legitimate places that she went to. And she was literally thrown to the streets daily. It was just not a pretty thing.
That is a tragedy that happens in our country.
It is, but there's many of us out there battling, and many of us out there trying to make sure.
And that's appreciated, because so many people don't know that. And I know so many have sent their loved one for treatment out of state because they want them away from who they're using with.
Exactly.
In their state. So they think going out of state is like a better thing. And it's amazing that I can say, since Ryan's passing, I'm more aware of commercials now that offer recovery and all those kind of resources. And when you know better, you do better. So now when I watch that, I second guess wondering, what do they really do?
Exactly. You go to these websites.
And you're very much a lot more educated on it than I am. And thank you for that. Do you have advice for somebody on how to find a reputable sober home or rehab? So
now more states are enacting licensing and regulation for sober homes. You have to research. You have to research the doctors through the, medical board websites. You can research the facilities. You can research who owns them. What are their criteria? What are they licensed for? But even all of that didn't stop what took place for my daughter. So, it's like in any business, in any career, for most of our kids, it was about an insurance card. you know, they took their insurance. Okay, you get 5 days of detox and we're going to approve 15 days of treatment. We're not going to give you 30. So it's really the whole, it's a bigger picture that it's difficult to find help that's really help, which is why I work so closely with Sarah from Savage Sisters.
And I know one thing I could say is, don't go by reviews that are on the places themselves. Do
Yeah.
not go by that. Ask. And I just passed the 4-year anniversary for Ryan. And it's amazing what I didn't know when he was still alive.
If only we had known.
Right. But I think our tribe is so much larger now and we have more resources and knowledge that we do whatever we can to make sure we don't want another mom in our shoes. You know, it's like, we're going to do everything we can to help you. And if we can't figure it out, we'll find somebody who can help you.
Exactly. We all have a direction and a niche that we fit into after the loss of our children and the circumstances that they died under. You look, if only I had known so much more before, you know, I might have been able to help Ava more, but I didn't have control over what other people were doing.
Right. You're right. Absolutely. So what is Ava's forever age?
Ava is forever 24.
24.
She died May 11th of 2018, and her birthday, her 25th birthday, would have been May 21st of 2018.
Oh.
So May is not a
she
good one.
passed 2018, right?
2018, yeah.
2018, same year as Ryan.
Yes.
So you've been on your grief journey 4 years, 4.5 years.
Yes. Almost 5. Hard to believe.
And I know, I remember thinking in the beginning, I'll narrow that down to the first year, thinking, how am I going to survive this? When I read posts about moms that were celebrating, I don't want to say celebrating, acknowledging anniversaries, like in the years, with the S on the years, I'm thinking, how do you do it? How do you do it? And then when we step in the role, there's really no answer to that. Like the people that come after, I would say there's the people that are there before me and the people that come after me. So the people that are there before me, they guide you and they hold your hand. So then it's our responsibility for the people that come after. We're going to guide them. We're going to hold their hand too. You know, we ask the same questions that they do, like, how do you survive this? All those questions, we've been there. It's a battle. It really is a battle. And to think 4.5 years, it's unthinkable.
It is. It's hard. And I don't think there's a day that goes by that I still say to myself, how can my child be dead?
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
Never goes away.
So in your grief journey over the years, how has your grief changed during that time? Has it affected you?
Well, like everybody, your first year, it's still shock. It's still, you know, desperation, a lot of crying, a lot of falling in the shower, falling on the floor with Ava due to legal court cases. I kept reliving everything over and over again. So it was definitely hard, but so I moderate Team Sharing PA and I moderate Team Sharing Alabama. I also moderate drug-induced homicide for Pennsylvania, as well as across the nation that I post for. So I can honestly say that if it wasn't for the Angel Moms, I'm not sure where I'd be.
Because you're also a widow. You were a
I am
young
a
widow.
Yes, Ava's daddy died when she was 2. We gave him a bath the morning he died. He died that evening. Um, Ava didn't really get to know her dad, but her dad was an amazing father, amazing husband. And like you, he was a big old biker. He was just a big old teddy bear. And, he just loved Ava. Ava could do no wrong in his eyes, none. And yeah, he was a stay-at-home dad. He had been in a motorcycle wreck and had some bad damage to his leg. So yeah, Ava never got to know him. So those two are up there waiting for me.
They are. They
They
are.
are.
They're reunited.
I hope so.
So you brought up some of the things that I know you're active in are you were very active in outreach, helping the Savage Sisters. For those that don't know, can you explain what you did for them, your donations, and what Savage Sisters does?
Okay, so when Ava passed away, I started doing outreach down in Kensington. The first place that I did outreach was at Eddie C's Last Stop. I would go every Sunday. And then originally I was just buying everything. And then I started to realize that moms needed to honor their children. So I started collecting donations from angel moms and angel families. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so then sadly, the virus hit, and I was, given strict orders by my lung doctor, do not go back. So I had tons of donations from angel families that needed to get to the people in need. So the outreaches were done in Kensington, Pennsylvania, which is an open air drug market. Devastating area. So many people suffering substance use disorder, and mental illness. So I would collect donations from angel families, as well as contribute myself, and I would make 100 blessing bags. I used to do it weekly. For a little over a year, almost 2 years, I did it weekly. And then when the virus hit, then I had all that stuff. So I reached out to Sarah, who I had met down in Kensington. She used to always come up and give me a hug and give me Narcan. And back then she was just a young girl in recovery. And she started an organization called Savage Sisters Recovery. And she runs trauma-based sober homes in the Philadelphia area, as well as she does monthly outreach. And then their group also does weekly outreach, which is harm reduction based. So I've been doing outreach almost 5 years, and sadly my physical health, I had a lot of physical problems before Ava died, but now they've gotten much worse. So December was my last outreach for Savage, but I still send them. I'm still contributing through Amazon Smiles, as well as my company has a wonderful match, 100% match on donations, and I send them 100 inspiration cards a month now. And one of the angel moms that I collected donations from was MaryBeth. MaryBeth loves to make hats.
Yes,
And
I did.
she sent 98 hats for our friends in Kensington. And I just sent the last batch out in December. So there's a lot of people with a lot of warm heads, thanks to Ryan and his mommy.
It
Oh, and your husband's right.
Uh-oh, you froze on me, Deb. But yes, I did make the hats. It was something that I needed something else to do. So the crocheting came in handy. It was fun trying to figure out a pattern.
Yeah, your husband was a great model. What a sport.
Yeah, but I feel the need to give back, to give back. And I found that was one more way I could give back. And I didn't know actually what I was going to do or how I was going to do with the hats, but it evolves. My angel guided me to you and my note that goes on them. And I felt it's when I saw the outreach you were doing, I felt helpless for the people that are on the streets, and especially in the middle of winter up north. And it's like, well, what can I do? And then I know one thing that I always wanted Ryan to know was that he was loved. And it didn't matter what he was going through, is that he was loved. So everything I do that I give away, I want the person, the recipient, to know they're loved. And that's why I sew a little heart on there.
Yes, they're beautiful.
A little reminder that they're loved, and the note on there, because it doesn't matter where you are in your life. You didn't ask for these circumstances, but it's important to know you're loved.
It is, and the destitute and
Mhm.
lack of hope there is very sad. So those hats, I'm sure, made a lot of people smile this weekend and last weekend, and so
And what
thank
we'll
you for
do
that.
is I'll make sure I'll post a link in the comments to the Savage Sisters. That way, since Debbie's not doing it and she needs a break to take care of herself, if they still continue to do the work. So we'll post a link for contact information, and that way there's no reason that y'all can't keep contributing. They'll let you know how they
Exactly.
need help. So we'll do
Exactly.
that.
Anybody can reach out to me as well for an address. People can still donate at savagesisters.org. They can still add Savage Sisters Recovery to their Smiles account with Amazon. Everybody uses Amazon these days, so those little pennies add up. Every little bit helps.
That's true. That's true. So in addition to that, and then you were saying you moderate other groups. What else have you been doing? You do a lot. Other
So I
groups
do.
that you've been involved in, and how are you now taking care of Ava and her memory?
So just little things like so my sister-in-law, in 2019, started the Ava for Life Narcan program, Narcan services program. That's actually a business. It's something that she did on behalf of Ava, giving it the Ava for Life. This is all her Ava for Life. So that's it's our magnets. So she does that. And then, Ava's with Janet from Safe Launch. She's on the airplane. And I recently sent locks to Jody, I think it's Nicole. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name properly, but sent her a lock to put in the Overdose Memorial up in New York. And I sent one to Marla Ayers in Ohio. So just all the little things that I haven't had time to do, trying to, even just so much as getting sweatshirts made. Like I just didn't have the money because I gave everything pretty much I had to outreach. So, but now it's self-care time. I have been to the the eye doctor, the ear doctor. I got blood drawn this morning. I have to. Where else did I go? I went to the primary. I've been busy with doctor's appointments, so it's a balance. But I think that I'm 5 years older now, so I don't have that strength and that physical energy that I used to have. Lugging 100 blessing bags and sorting donations and bagging, it's very physical. And so my health kind of just told me it's time to, go a different route. So now I'm doing more advocacy work. I had the pleasure of attending the DEA summits, the summit here in Philadelphia. And, I spoke in Harrisburg this year about Ava's story on one of the cases for the Department of Justice in Florida. God bless them. They've done an amazing job with bringing down with their Sober Homes Initiative, the people who were, not doing the right things. So, just trying to get little things like I going through the computer and I found a couple new pictures of Ava that I didn't have, and just reading her medical reports, like the things I haven't had time to do, I'm doing now.
So that sounds good. So it sounds like I was going to ask you what your goals are in the new year, but I think you just said it. And one is taking care of yourself.
Yes, and still taking care of the angel moms, and then I'd like to do more advocacy work, more, I went to, and maybe even come down to Florida for your ride for Ryan, but I did
All
go out.
right.
We did
Woohoo!
I did go out to Chicago and met Tara Bear and Kim and Kathy Zander and all the people out there in Chicago that are battling. We've got moms all over the country. We all find our little niche, and we all, advocate for our little piece, and we're all trying to save lives. The bottom line is we want to remember our children, and we don't want their lives and their deaths to be in vain. So we fight to save other people, especially in this fentanyl crisis. This is bad.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's all over the country. All over the country we are. And different things that people do. And that, I love that. It's like, oh, wow, I never thought of that. Or there's things people do that I know I can't do in my heart. It's like, so I'm glad somebody else does it, because it's too much of a burden to put on one person. And I know about what you were saying about having our angels remembered. That is so important. And what I've learned in my journey is having our angels remembered isn't just about Ryan anymore. It's about all of them. In the beginning, I think we're consumed with our child that passed, and you want to see your child and this and this and this. And my fear was he would be forgotten. So that's a lot of how I got active doing things, was because of fear. Once I digested the fear, the love came out. More love. So when I share and events I do and things like that, it's the love has surpassed my fear now. I'm not afraid Ryan's going to be forgotten. He's out there. His face is out there. If he's not in a video or in something, it's okay, because the message is what's important.
Exactly.
And I think that's what angel parents need to remember is it's the message. Let's get the message out there. And that's what's important. So I do hope one year you can make it down to Florida for Ryan's ride. And that's actually less than 2 months away. And my goal of that is remembering and honoring our loved ones who we've lost to this opioid epidemic.
Exactly.
It's not a rally. Other people do that successfully, absolutely successfully. This is different. It's having the comfort, support that we need, and the awareness in the community to know that we're out there. And it could be your neighbor who lost a
Exactly.
child.
Exactly. And like I said, I mean, I think just from the perspective, like, Tanya and Adrian, just recently, and Jean, they did the teddy bears for the children. We understand our loss. We suffer through our grief and loss, but then you have to take a look and take a step back at all those poor children that are left without mothers and fathers, and some of them both mothers and fathers are deceased. So yeah, this epidemic's taking a toll on life, and I don't think any one of us knows how to stop this. The only thing we know is that by bringing awareness, if you talk to one single person in an event that knew nothing about Narcan or fentanyl, you've made a contribution.
Yes, absolutely. And it's stopping the stigma associated with it and talking. There should be no shame. My dog just brought in a piece of wood. That's what happens.
There wasn't a dead bird.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I feel like that's my responsibility right now. And it's to talk. I'm not ashamed. I was ashamed when Ryan was suffering. But I didn't have support. I didn't know where to look.
Yeah.
And now I'm not ashamed. I love my child. Ryan was this cool human being, really absolutely awesome. And before we were recording, Debbie was having problems with her computer, getting it set up. And then it's like, I got a feeling her computer's fine because Ryan likes to fool around with electronics. That's what he does because he knows we're going to talk about him.
There you go.
So as we wrap up, because if I don't stop talking, I won't. So as we wrap up, I'd like to end with a positive thought. So Deb, would you like to share one with us?
Sure. So one of the things that you asked me what I did for Ava is that on the 11th, Ava died on May 11th, on the 11th edition of the You Are the Mother of All Mothers. And this is an amazing book. If you haven't received one or gotten one, it's an amazing book. I did have Ava's name put in the book. She's right here, right there. She's in the book. And in this book, Angela Miller quotes, "I will carry you here and there and here, until I am where you are," Angela Miller. And that's what we do as angel families. We carry each other through. We get each other through the good times, the bad times, the happy, the sad. And yeah, that's what we do. And we remember our kids. We love them.
Yes, we do. And we love all of them. All of them. We may not have met them in life, but we met them in love.
And we all know each other's kids, which is wonderful. The other quote I'd like to say is "Kindness matters." My daughter, in her jewelry box, I found an owl. I believe it was for hanging on a like a rear view mirror or something, and it hung, and on the little owl it said "Kindness matters," and that kind of stuck with me real hard. My daughter was very kind, and so yeah, kindness matters.
I love that. Well, once again, I'd like to thank you, Deb, for joining me. I'll post links in the comments on how you can reach Savage Sisters. Also, the book Debbie shared. I'll post a link to that. That's a good book. I've been in support groups and they've read passages, but I don't own it. And I think I might treat myself this year to buying that book. So thank you for that reminder for me. You can find out. What's that?
She actually runs on her page when you can put your child's name and the memorial on the back of the page.
Ooh. Angela Miller?
Yeah, Angela Miller. Like, see, this is the memorial page. She'll do "In Loving Memory." Let me just open it up here. She'll do "In Loving Memory." This one, like I said, is the 11th edition, and I made sure it was the 11th edition because Ava died on the 11th. So that was kind of special, but it really is truly an awesome book by Angela Miller, and her loss she shares with so many people. So we thank her for that.
Okay. Another project for me. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you can find out more about the From Project on Facebook. It is a public page and it's a soft place to land for grieving families, friends, and other family, where you can learn about grief, a gentle way to support us, grief tips, grief truths, very gentle. You can send me an email to thefromproject@gmail.com. Or you can find the From Project on YouTube, where we'll have other conversations. So I have to show you Ryan. I know I couldn't find a little picture.
I know, Ryan. These two are buddies. I'll bet you my computer works when I get off of you. I'm doing this via my cell phone. My computer wouldn't work. So, I mean.
So yeah. Today I got to share with you a big picture, Ryan. He made me do it. He makes me do it. That's always my excuse now. Ryan made me do it. So remember, you are not alone. I'm sending you love, hugs, support, and compassion from my heart to yours. I am forever Ryan's mom. So until our next conversation, have a great day and be gentle to yourself.
God bless me.